All right, real quick before I show you the exercises, let me explain why mobility and how mobility unlocks that strength and power. Real quick. So, look, if I am foot on top of the counter and I were to say, kick my hand, right? How much power do I have? Now, this is pretty much the end of my range of motion. I can lift my foot off a little bit. So if I kick my hand, look how weak that is. Now, of course, if I put my hand lower, because my leg can get up that high, I have a lot more power in that range. So imagine I could get my foot up to here. At this point in the range, I would have more power. Now consider that when doing a pull-up. Consider that when doing a push-up. Consider that when doing anything that requires you to have some mobility. The more range of motion you have, the more you can create power before the end of your range of motion. So normally I would suggest that the best starting point would be your wrists and your forearms. But the reality is that most calisthenics athletes, because they do so much pull, you overdevelop your back muscles and you start to see rounded shoulders. Now this is normal in calisthenics, this is normal in gymnastics, but because of those rounded shoulders, you get really tight in your thoracic spine, your T-spine. Your thoracic spine is the mid-back. Now your back is supposed to naturally have an S curve, curves in here, curves out, but that rounded thing can lead to a lot of imbalances in the body and injuries. I've hurt my shoulder because of this, I've hurt my back because of this. So this is the best exercise to open up the T-spine. And you can do this right on your couch, on the edge of your couch. You can do this on a chair, you can do this on a bench at the gym, you can even do this on a foam roller. But come down so you position your T-spine right there. You can kind of see that's mid-back. From here, I'm gonna lean back. Ooh, my back cracked. So you might even get a nice release there. From here, I'm gonna stick my arms overhead, lock my elbows, and I'm gonna let my arms come up overhead, and you'll notice my T-spine starting to stretch. And then I'm gonna bend my arms, come back to center. What I don't wanna see is as I go here, pressing and arching through your lower back. That's not the exercise. The exercise is that T-spine. So you're here. Nice and slow. It's not about speed, it's not about reps, it's about opening up that space in the body. Now, if this becomes too easy, you can grab a water bottle and hold it in your hands, or maybe up to a 10-pound weight. You don't need to go heavier than that, and that'll help that weight carry and help your body move into that space. So that exercise is going to be clutch, and I promise you, after you do a few reps like that, you're gonna start to sit up taller and realize that all of the hunching you do on your phone or at your computer is gonna be reversed by an exercise like that. That's why I'm gonna give you this exercise as the most important one that you should do first. Tendinitis, guys. It's something that you need to avoid, and it happens to so many people that start calisthenics. Why? Because you get outside to the bar park, you can't wait to grab the bar to do a muscle up, a pull up, a handstand, whatever it is. You're too excited and you're not warmed up. Warming up the body and improving mobility will make you stronger. I promise it's gonna make you stronger, guys. If I do mobility before doing handstands or handstand push-ups, it is noticeable, it's significantly noticeable. So we're gonna start here on all fours. Now you need to understand your scapula, your shoulder blades are involved in this motion right here, but what I wanna do is I wanna get the weight over the wrists, so my elbow, shoulder, wrist are all stacked. From here, I just wanna rotate, try to bring my biceps forward, and I'm using my scapula to twist my forearm. Now this might be easy, you might not feel this in your wrist, but we're kind of just lubricating the joint here. We wanna make it more aggressive, we shift the weight over the wrist now. We don't wanna get weak in the shoulders, we don't wanna bend the elbows, lock the elbows, press through the shoulders. From here, start rotating. Now you'll feel this a little bit deeper in the wrist. You can come forward even more still, but there's a limit. You don't need to go much more past this. After you've done that for about 30 seconds, we flip the wrist, fingers towards your knees. Again, not weaken the shoulders, not weaken the elbows, press away. If you want to make it less intense, come closer. If you want to make it more intense, based on your mobility, from here, and you just hold. This one's gonna be a little bit of hold. You can do light, really light rocks if you want, but more or less we're holding and we're really trying to open up here in the elbow joint. After we've done that, we're going to do two more that we can change. So hand flat here. From here, you can do one arm rotations like I mentioned, or back of the wrist. Now a lot of people skip this one. You have muscles running through your forearm here in the back of the wrist. They're all gonna be activated. So hand flat, I'll face camera, other hand flat on top of the hand, elbow straight, shoulders nice and straight. From here, that same rotation. And if you don't feel it, because you're over here, bend the wrist more, lean this way, and you will definitely start to feel that stretch. And once your forearms are all warmed up, don't just dive into an aggressive set. Take it slow for a couple reps, maybe only 5, or a couple sets, maybe only 5 reps here, 8 reps, before you start to build to that more maximum level of reps. Because what warming up is increasing the temperature of your body, and as it gets warmer, you perform better. This is why they say don't skip the warm-ups, because you're actually a better athlete when your body's warm. Let's go to the next one. Guys, this is as good a time as any to tell you that my Project Shred program has mobility exercises built into it. It's a 30-day program, includes nutrition, and it's gonna give you everything you need to get shredded, including daily workouts that are about 30 minutes, mobility exercises, and lifestyle goals so you can start building healthy habits. Because once you have the habit, there's no burden, it becomes natural, and that's how you see the results. So if you wanna train like me, eat like me, move like me, I got you, Project Shred. Hit the link below. Otherwise, back to mobility. All right, back to the T-spine and to work on opening up those shoulders, because we got tight lats, because we do so much overhead and upper body work with calisthenics. So take a band, double it, triple it. If you don't have a band, you can use a belt. Boom, in between the elbows. This is gonna stop our elbows from going out wide during the stretch. A water bottle, a yoga block, in this case, a speaker. Come to the edge of the couch. On all 4 knees, elbows go here, hands hold the speaker or the water bottle. Reason is, if without this, my hands are gonna come together, and that's gonna not work the stretch the way that I want it to. So here I am, I duck my head through the bands, and I start to arch my back. I don't wanna hang my head too low, but I just wanna be here, sitting in this position, breathing. And it should feel tight. You don't wanna necessarily be here, so start to let the back arch, and you fall through. And what you'll notice is your hands are starting to press really hard on that water bottle, because your elbows want to flare out, because that's what happens when you build upper body strength. You notice bodybuilders, they start to wind up out here, and we can start to counteract that by doing stretches like this. And you'll notice after that, start to lift your hands overhead, all of a sudden you have increased mobility. As you learn calisthenics skills, we know that straddling the legs is one of the best ways to regress the movement. The full movement's usually with your legs together. So having a straddle mobility is gonna be clutch in your calisthenics journey. But you need a variety of different straddles. So first, I need to work the groin, which means I need to do a split like this. Now think about this. If I was in planche or handstand, I'm straddling like this. Now you'll notice we never straddle and arch our back. We might pike our hips. So I want to start with the groin, and then I want to try to walk my hands back to whatever's comfortable. And everybody's going to have a different level. From here, I'm going to walk back even further until this starts to become, it starts to translate from groin to hamstrings. Now I'm sitting on my butt. From here, I can stretch my hamstrings, unlock that hamstring strength. Now, where most people make a mistake with this stretch, I'm gonna turn sideways to the camera so you can see, is they think it's about how far you can lean forward. This, you feel this in your hamstrings, but note something, my back's rounded. If I set my back, keep it arched like this, right? And then I reach for my hamstrings without rounding my back, I can really only go here. Look, that's all I got. For me to go more forward, I round my spine. That means it's not hamstring mobility we're working on. We're cheating by rounding our back. So most people, unless you're a yogi, should elevate their butt, some sort of pillow, some sort of block. Now you can sit more forward. You can arch your back. And instead of sitting like this for 60 seconds where you just stretch your ligaments, come out of the stretch and they go back, that's flexibility. We're training mobility. The difference is we're training active. So instead of passively stretching, we're actively here, leaning until we just feel it in our hamstrings. It's not about how far we go. It's about here, activating and pushing back. And we breathe as we do it. And we're not rounding that spine because that is not the muscle. That is not the tendons that we're training. The mobility is for the hamstring, and before that for the groin, as I showed. Let's go on to the next one. Now, this isn't necessarily a calisthenics thing, but most people generally have tight hips. We sit all day from school to work to whatever. or we do calisthenics, or we do a ton of leg workouts, or a million things that would give us tight hips, other than starting to do flexibility or mobility exercises to open up the hips. So how do we do the hips? Best way to do it for beginners. Let me start with beginners. Beginners, you're on your butt like this. You've probably seen this stretch. Foot comes on opposite knee. You reach through and then you lean back. And this is passive, but it's a good stretch. But we don't want just passive. So where that's a good point, a good starting point to get the stretch as a beginner, I'd rather you here in push-up position, bring that knee to your chest, lay that foot out to the side, and lay down the leg. Now, if your hips are really tight, you're not gonna be able to do that. Mine are pretty tight, so you'll notice I'm opening up to make this happen. So I'm gonna bring this heel closer here. Now I can get my weight more level, and I can get into the position where I can feel this along the outside glute, which is the hip, right? But I don't wanna be passive, and like I explained, I don't want my spine to give me this stretch. This isn't working any more glute than this is working, believe it or not. So where can I go that I can hold my weight up without my hands, without my spine being low? Now I've worked on this active strength, so for me it's here. This would be someone's starting point as a beginner. I want you to engage that hip. Don't just sit in it passively, engage it. Lean down to where you can't go any further and engage again. You're almost doing good mornings on one leg, and as you go, you can go a little bit deeper. Now I really feel the hip engage, and I press away. But if you're a beginner, we bring back out that pillow. I'll do the other leg, bring the knee to chest, lay your hip on that pillow. Now it's elevated. It's not as much strain because the foot's not at the same height as the leg, so it's a little bit less on the hip. From here, I can lean into that pillow and do exactly like I just showed. All right, and lastly, this is not a mobility exercise, but it goes hand in hand with mobility. You need to become best friends with one of these, a foam roller. Now my foam roller is unique because it doesn't have any foam. It's a PVC pipe from the department store, and I like this because it really digs into your tissue and helps break up that tension. If you're gonna use a foam roller, try not to use the really squishy foamy ones because they're just not gonna do anything for you. Now what you can do with a foam roller, other than hit the targeted sore areas, is before even working out, you can roll the tight parts of your body, like for me, subscat, lat, some of the pull muscles, and after I've rolled those muscles, I'll notice that I have increased range. Now I can do my mobility exercises or even my normal exercises in that increased range, teaching my body, teaching my brain that it's okay to move there, that I have that mobility, and that's how you can build it. So whether you're targeting the lats, your lower back, your traps, your rhomboids, your glute, your quads, you can hit so many different areas with a foam roller. I'm probably gonna have to do a video specifically on foam rollers next, so stay tuned for that. But become best friends with one of these. And there you have it, everybody. Those mobility exercises are gonna be essential in helping you achieve that next level. So whether you're a beginner or you're more advanced, put these into your practice. And where I say that you shouldn't train any specific exercise every day, you can absolutely train mobility every single day, because part of what mobility is not just elongating these tendons, it's training your brain to understand that it's safe to move in this new range of motion. So it's as much neurocognitive as it is physical in your body. Guys, if you liked this video, hit the like, definitely subscribe, hit me in the comments, let me know what else you want to see me make a video on. Otherwise, peace, see you on the next one.